Today I'm walking you through 6 machines that regular people are using to make serious money, some of them as a side hustle and some of them as their full-time job. Each one of these is a real physical machine that essentially hands you a business and you can either run it out of your garage or your house. And for each one, I'm going to show you exactly how much it costs to get started, what skills you actually need, and how fast people are seeing a real income from it. My name is Austin Zabek and I built multiple different companies, primarily in real estate and pest control and a couple of other industries over the last decade. And if you get any value out of today's video, all I ask is you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It'll help us get this video in front of more people who need to see it. I'm gonna start with one that I didn't take seriously until I saw what a 17-year-old did with it. She makes $2 million a year from an embroidery machine. Kita Dervishi was 17 when she first bought one of these during the pandemic. And it wasn't to start a business, it was just to mess around. She had seen other teenagers on TikTok making money from home and she figured she'd give it a shot. And what started as a hobby turned into an Etsy shop and then turned into a brand. And in her first year, Soulmate Customs crossed $1 million and is now doing over $2 million in revenue per year. And the turning point wasn't some big fancy marketing strategy. It was a birthday gift that she made for her mom. She embroidered a photo of the two of them onto a shirt and her mom opened it and started crying. And that moment became the entire identity of the business. Custom, personal, emotional products that people are naturally drawn to. She posted the process on TikTok and it took off and orders started flooding in faster than she could even fill them. Today, Soulmate Customs is a full family operation. So here's how the business model works and so you can apply it to your own life. All you gotta do is you gotta pick a niche with an emotional pull. So think families, pets, couples. You create custom designs that mean something to the buyer and you sell them on Etsy or on Shopify and you use short form videos to show the process. And to get started, you're looking at under $500 for an entry-level machine, which is the same one that Kita started with. And if you want to eventually scale up to a commercial grade machine that can handle real volume, you're looking at probably a couple of $1,000 to up to $5 grand. Blank shirts and hats typically run anywhere between $3 and $15 at wholesale cost, and finished custom products typically sell anywhere from $25 to $80 depending on the complexity of the design. The margins are great, and for a business doing this kind of revenue, the startup cost is really about as low as it can possibly get. And what I love about this business is that you don't need any experience and you don't need a degree. You can learn how to embroider on YouTube like Kita did. And the barrier to entry is so small and the proof of concept is already there. I mean, think about it. A teenager turned a hobby into a $2 million a year business. And before you start taking on your first orders, you want to make sure that your business is set up the right way. You got to get your LLC in place to make sure that you're protected. And my friends over at Prime Corporate Services will actually get your LLC set up completely for free, and that link is down in the description below. So the next one works on the same idea. It's a machine that turns creativity into income, but the product and the customer are very different. So when you hear Cricut, you probably think of scrapbooking or you think of somebody's like arts and crafts room. A Cricut is a precision cutting machine. You load it with material like vinyl, cardstock, or heat transfer film, and it cuts exact designs based on whatever you program into it. And what that means in practice is that you can produce custom, personalized products at a speed and consistency that nobody can do by hand. And the creations here are endless, so think custom tumblers with names on them, wedding signage, personalized baby gifts, things that people are actively searching for, willing to pay a premium for, all because they can't find them in a store or they don't have the patience or wherewithal to do it themselves. So Jess and Emily, the founders of Bespoke Bride, are a case study of what this looks like at scale. So they bought a Cricut maker and they started producing custom products. And their first viral moment came from a simple tutorial that they posted about a custom cocktail glass. And it blew up and people started asking if they could just buy them instead of them teaching them how to make them. So they launched a shop, and that shop, powered almost entirely by their Cricut, brought in over $75,000 in revenue, and it is now their primary income stream. And they use the machine 3 to 4 times a week to keep up with the orders. And the personalized good market is actually growing really fast. Etsy alone has millions of active buyers searching for custom items year-round. And the demand spikes around Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and Christmas. And the sellers who crush it in this space aren't the ones with the most creative ideas. They're the ones who can fulfill orders quickly, consistently, and at a margin that actually makes a lot of money. The startup cost here is entirely accessible. The Cricut Maker 3 runs about $400, and materials to get started are another $100 to $200. So you're basically in business for under $600. There are nearly 6 million active users on the Cricut platform right now, and they're selling into a marketplace of over 86 million active buyers on Etsy alone. The demand for what this machine produces is massive, and it is still growing. So the next one is a completely different kind of business, no creativity required, just a growing market and a customer who is actively searching for what you're offering and, of course, willing to pay for it. Now, there is a catch with this one, okay? The machine itself is a little bit pricey, but I'm gonna show you how you can get one for cheap, and that is a DEXA scanner. Now, a DEXA scanner is the gold standard machine for measuring your body composition, okay? Think things like body fat, bone density, and overall muscle mass that you have on your body. This machine is what the NFL uses to evaluate draft picks, and it is what serious athletes, longevity clinics, and people who are dialed in on their health use to track their progress with accurate data instead of guessing. And just to show you what a DEXA scan looks like, I recently did one myself, and I am currently 18.2% body fat, I have 6.6 pounds of bone density in my body, and I have 132.2 pounds of lean body mass. And as you can see, it shows you where your weight is stored in your body, and it shows you all sorts of other cool stuff. And most people who want a DEXA scan have a hard time finding one because they're not in every gym and they're probably not in your doctor's clinic. So I went ahead and I took a look at the Phoenix market specifically, and for a metro area of this size, the number of providers doing affordable, accessible scans outside of a hospital system is actually surprisingly really small. So globally, the market is actually projected to grow from 609 million in 2026 to 917 million by 2034. But the more interesting number that you should be thinking about is what individual operators are charging per scan. And they're charging anywhere from $100 on the low end to $250 on the high end. And just for reference, doing a scan takes literally 5 minutes. Now, a mobile DEXA provider doing 10 scans a day at $100, okay, on the low end of the scale is making $1,000 a day. And that's probably only for a couple of hours worth of work. And the customer coming through the door is motivated, they're health conscious, and they will most likely be doing more than one scan. Now, getting back to the price, right? Buying one of these outright can run anywhere from 20 to 80 grand, depending on whether it is brand new or whether it is refurbished. And you might hear that and say, there ain't no freaking way, right? But leasing a machine can completely change the game. So if you were to lease a machine, a monthly lease payment could be $600 to maybe a couple of grand, depending on the terms. And a lot of the suppliers out there actually offer $0 down to get started. So that means you could have a fully operational DEXA business running for less per month than most people spend on a car payment. And the numbers actually back it up. Operators are reporting a 97% return on investment, or ROI, in the first year alone. Now, depending on where you're located, there might be licensing requirements since the machines do use a low dose of X-ray technology. The simplest path that operators take is just hiring somebody who already has the certification and then running the business without needing one yourself. But the flip side to the barrier of entry means that there is far less competition than maybe some of the others on the list. And from a demand standpoint, the market is just now getting crowded enough to validate it. Okay, the next one on the list has one of the lowest barriers of entry, and it can put $1,000 into your pocket in one day, and that is inflatables. So every weekend, somewhere in your city, somebody is throwing a birthday party, and a lot of those events, as you've probably seen, want an inflatable bounce house or a water slide or an obstacle course. And somebody has to own all of those inflatables and rent them out. And that somebody does not have to be a big company. It can absolutely be you. And Mark and Amanda are a perfect example. Mark was a full-time truck driver from Florida, and he wasn't even looking to quit his job. He was just looking for a way to bring in a little bit of extra money on the side. So the two of them started water slide tents and events as a family operation. And within 6 months, they had generated over 50 grand in revenue. They expanded to 28 inflatables, and they did all of it without spending a single dollar on marketing. So the rental inflatable industry is currently valued at about 900 million, and is projected to reach about 1.5 billion by 2033. And what makes this business particularly interesting is that 70 to 80% of all of the bookings actually happen on Saturday and Sunday, which means if you're working a regular job during the week, this business is something you can quite literally run around your job or around your 9 to 5. And the business model here is really simple. A customer books your equipment for a birthday party or an event, and you show up, you set it all up, and then you come back to break it down. Standard bounce houses can rent anywhere between $200 to $300 a day, and water slides can bring anywhere between $300 to $600 a day. So a busy Saturday in the summer with a couple of deliveries running simultaneously could bring you in well over $1,000. Now, most operators say that you want 3 to 5 units to cover multiple bookings on a busy day. And you can get started for as little as a couple of grand, and you just need a little bit of insurance, but beyond that, the overhead is really minimal. And if you're in a state like Arizona or Las Vegas, this business is even more compelling because you have really consistent weather year round. The barrier to entry is almost nothing compared to what this business can generate you. Okay, so getting into the next machine, and this one runs every single day, whether you're at your 9 to 5 or you're sitting in the Bahamas, and that is vending machines. So Quinn Miller was 28 years old, and he was working as a sales rep when he came across a thread on Twitter about people making money from vending machines. And he was super skeptical at first, but the more that he read, the more that it made sense. So he went ahead, he bought his first machine online, he filled it up, and through a friend, he landed a spot at a local mechanic shop. He placed his second machine in an apartment building, and that machine sold over $1,200. And the real turning point came when he stopped buying individual machines and he started to acquire full routes. And in April, he picked up a route that had several machines already placed in high-performing locations along an easy distribution path. And that month, he did over $11,500. And from there, it really just snowballed forward. Quinn went from a handful of machines to 57 machines, generating about $30,000 a month in revenue. And he was only working about 6 hours a week to run the entire thing. So taking a step back, the vending machine industry generated about $7.7 billion in revenue in the US in 2025. And there are more than 3 million machines operating across the country. And the market just continues to grow as cashless payment systems make vending more accessible and more profitable than ever before. And the business is really so freaking simple. You buy a machine, you negotiate a placement with a property that gets consistent foot traffic, like an office building, a gym, a laundromat, and then you stock it with whatever that location's customers actually want to buy. So all you got to do is collect the revenue, restock on a schedule, and the machine really works without you most of the time. And here's the thing with businesses like this. A lot of operators who have been doing it for a long time are looking to exit. And when you find one of those sellers, most of them are open to financing the deal themselves, meaning they'll give you the route on seller finance. And that is exactly why this one made the list today. Okay, number 6 on the list, and this is actually one that I have personally done myself. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I built an ATM company, and I had close to 100 machines running with a business partner of mine, and we eventually sold the entire thing. And we got into this business because we saw people doing it online. And we figured out the model, and we started placing machines literally overnight. And our best locations were barbershops, gas stations, and places really where people needed cash consistently, and there wasn't a lot of good options nearby. And the pitch to the location owners was really easy. We were putting money in their pocket for doing nothing. The better the foot traffic, the better the deal for everybody. And on paper, all of this looked great. We had the recurring revenue. It was relatively passive other than putting cash in all the machines, and they were working nonstop without us actually being there. And to be honest with you, we really enjoyed it until we got to around 100 machines, and then we kind of hit a wall. We realized that we were carrying around a boatload of cash to go refill the machines all the time. And so it got to a point for me and my partner where the next logical step was to buy an armored vehicle, because at the time we were driving a Prius. And we had to ask ourselves if this was really the business that we saw ourselves doing at massive scale. So we decided, instead of going from 100 machines to 500 machines, just to sell what we had. And that was about 6 years ago. And you can actually find some of those videos back on my YouTube channel if you scroll all the way down. So why did I put it on the list if we eventually sold the business ourselves? Because at a smaller scale, before you hit that ceiling, this is actually one of the most straightforward cash flowing businesses that you can run. Every time somebody pays an out-of-network fee to withdraw cash, that money goes straight into your bank account. So all you gotta do is set your fee on that particular machine, place your machine in that location, bolt it down if you want, load it periodically, and you sit back and you collect the income. And restocking it with cash takes literally 5 minutes. minutes. I mean, you park your car, you walk in, you unlock it, you type in your code, and you put the cash in there. And there are over 6.9 million ATMs in the US alone. And most of the ones that you see in bars and barbershops and laundromats, they're not owned by Wells Fargo. They're owned by individual operators just like you and me. Anywhere other than a Wells Fargo or a Chase or Bank of America is pretty much your opportunity. Okay, so there you have it, guys. That is 6 machines that you can turn into a real business, okay? These are things that are physical that you can go out and buy today. Some of them take a little bit more setup. They take a little bit more capital or more creativity, but every single one of them has people behind it generating real income right now. So the real question is which one of these that we talked about today fits your budget, your market, and what you're actually willing to show up and do. So drop down below which machine you liked that we talked about today and which one you think you might do in the future. And if you found any value in today's video, please do me a huge favor, smash that like button. It really does help me out a ton. Subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean the world to me. It's all ever ask from you. And make sure you stay tuned for our future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you then.